Hello there. Welcome to Press X to continue for January 2025. Wow, whole new year. And there's a lot going on in video game world and the wider world at
Yeah.
large. The Switch 2, Nintendo finally were like, okay, everyone leaked what this hardware is. Let's show you what it really is. The fancy hardware reveal. So they did that. How you doing, Jason?
Fantastic. I can't wait to talk about it. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a little bit of other stuff to talk about.
Jason, your internet just immediately said I'm not going to work today.
Okay, I'm in Louisiana. We're actually expecting a while, so it could affect my internet.
Oh man, would it work if you turned your camera off?
About to find out. Can you hear me better?
Your camera's still on.
Not on my end.
Okay. Try more stuff. Cannot hear you. Lovely. I think I hear you now. Hello?
Are we no longer live?
We are live. Just
Okay.
My camera is
Jason might
paused.
have.
Oh, I see.
Can you hear me?
No, I can hear you.
I
It's
can,
going
yeah.
in and out though. Do you have a good cell connection? Are you able to tether? Would that help or no?
Connect. Well, shit, I don't have a good mic. Me, I never had internet on my computer. So if y'all want to go on without me, I might, if the internet makes it where I can't run, but
Is tethering not an option? Do you live in a bad area for that?
What's our status?
He's tethering and trying to reconnect.
Cool. I've received a couple of child interruptions, so that's why.
All good. It may just be me and you. We'll see how this goes.
All right. We can also potentially move it unless the preference is to just power through.
I think I want to power through.
While we're giving this one last attempt here, I'm going to refill my tea one more time.
All right, sounds good. Okay, on the iPhone?
Yeah, just having to. It's the only way I can get it through right now.
This is solid. This is working.
As long as this is solid and working, believe me, I'm happy to do this.
What do you listen to on the phone with? Do you have AirPods in, or do you?
Well, I hadn't switched my Bluetooth over yet. Give me just a second.
I was just impressed. I couldn't hear myself back with the speaker playing.
Really? Oh, so you're not hearing any
No.
feedback? I can
Not right now.
Okay.
Well, I just heard some just now, but yeah, maybe headphones would be good. But I was impressed. It was fairly good at sound canceling from the iPhone, which is impressive.
Apologize for the delayed start again. Everything was the same.
All good. It happens.
And I see Robbie's camera is paused. Did he have to pause
He's
as well, or is that
getting tea? Just refilling his beverage.
got it?
Yep. Oh, I'm hearing white. Maybe it's trying to use a bad microphone from the headphones, and maybe it's best to not use the headphones if that's the case. Because it's just a white noise that doesn't sound good. So maybe no headphones if that's what's doing it.
Is the white noise any better?
It's gone now.
It's gone now?
Yep.
Yeah, it seems like my headphone, the speaker on it isn't so great, so I won't be able to do that. It's fine.
Yeah, so far I only heard my feedback once, so hopefully
Well,
it stays away. Yep.
I'm also gonna turn it down and kind of move it in a little bit closer, so it'll both pick me up and won't need as much volume.
Yeah. Yep. Hopefully, don't get too much of the feedback there.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, actually, it's funny. We're expecting some hellacious weather here, and it's
We
screwing with
got
things.
a
And
bunch of
mind
snow
you,
overnight, so I got to clear that this afternoon.
yeah. See, I mean, it's snow shouldn't be a big deal, but when you're in the South in a place that's not used to dealing with it, it's amazing how big a deal it makes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last night at like 4 or 3 a.m., it's like there's the plow going by our street, hard at work. Can't imagine that job. Like, oh, snowing, let's go out and get rid of it here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
This seems passable.
Yeah, this is good. He's on the phone. Got it working there. Hopefully. I don't know what happened to the camera just now, Jason. Are you ready to start? I don't know.
Sorry, I realized I had a VPN connected, so I had to disconnect that to clean up my connection a bit.
Okay, cool. No headphones, but I'm not hearing feedback so far, so that'll work, I think.
Yeah, they have a pretty good setting on trying to get rid of that, it would seem.
Yep. Cool. Let's start again. Ready?
Round 2.
Hello there. Welcome to Press X to Continue for January 2025. Brand new year. And last week, Nintendo revealed the Switch 2 because I think they're fed up with all the leakers. Don't know if this was the original release of this video or not, but we'll dive into all that and much more. How are we doing today, Jason?
Oh, fantastic. Cannot wait to talk Nintendo and Switch 2.
Yeah, I've been playing my Switch quite a bit, as we'll talk about. Those Grand Theft Auto games are run really nice there, so got a lot to say about that, and just the Switch and Joy-Cons disconnecting as you're playing in handheld mode, and hopefully these magnets will fix that issue. Yeah.
I'm worried those are going to break off, but we'll have a lot of time to dive
Well,
into that.
the magnets have gotten stronger over the past many millenniums. How you doing, Robbie?
Doing good. Yeah, the magnet thing. I guess do we jump in, or can I talk about magnets?
I
Magnets,
think we
how do
just
they
jump
work?
in the Switch too, right?
I mean,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, if you want to go in order, you can. But I fundamentally don't understand the magnet thing because I remember several years ago there started to be these like Apple Watch rumors of like a magnetic attachment to from the band to the watch, and thinking like, how does that possibly offer the same security as a snappy bit?
Okay,
Yeah.
Rob, but wait a minute, Robbie, do you Mac or PC?
iMac.
You telling me that you don't have faith in those MagSafe adapters? I mean, I've had no complaint with like the and I think it's going to be similar, that kind of a magnet connection.
Sure, I guess what I'm saying is like the magnet to my Mac is designed to come out easily. That's my thing. Is like, how does something that attaches to something to your wrist that's valuable or holds a controller
That
that
might
you're
be why
squeezing
they
really tight?
never actually did that.
Well, yeah, but now I think the point he's making is now Nintendo is with the Joy-Cons.
So I think, well, the cool thing I did not fully expect with these new Joy-Cons is how much of a huge freaking magnet it is. Like, it's a bit, like, it juts out in this big way, which finally fixes the ZL and ZR buttons where those are usable. Have you ever tried playing a single Joy-Con game and you don't have the little adapter thing, you pop it on and you just go, you raw dog it on just a single Joy-Con, and you have to try to hit the little tiny button? Because I have, and it's not fun, guys. Like I got the Joy-Con here. Like, look at this little tiny thing here. Like, the new one, it juts out. They're nice big buttons to grab onto.
But it comes with some. Okay, you're not wrong, but it does come with something to put on there to make those buttons more easily accessible.
As a switcher, as they say, when it first came out, I was on a train and this random stranger next to me. It was a new that was like out for like 2 weeks. It was like, do you want to play Switch? Played a game with the random. So you don't have all your accessories at all times when you're traveling. One would say, yeah.
I don't know. I'll be honest, with both of the things we're talking about, the recessed buttons, which I didn't have a problem with, but I can agree that they were annoying, and the magnet. Again, I understand that the MagSafe on the MacBook is meant to come off, but I also feel like, especially at the size we're talking about, that's going to be a pretty strong connection. I'm actually more worried about the little connector board that's jutting out of the Switch. I have a feeling a lot of those are going to get broken.
I don't see how unless you're trying to purposely go in there and damage it.
Robbie, how old's your oldest child?
5.
Do you think your 5-year-old will break that little knob that juts out of the Switch main unit that magnetic thing is going to hold into? I see that as a failure point, especially with kids.
It could be. Yeah, I mean, he only just recently started playing with it, but I will say that like I'm a little bit reckless with my current Switch, and I've had to return every Joy-Con I own in at least once for drift. But I do also do reckless stuff, like just shove it in my pocket, like all jammed up in there with no case a lot.
What?
So
What are you doing there, Robbie?
You got big pockets.
yeah, no, they're big pockets, just big enough, you know.
Yeah, people have been saying the joysticks are a better quality one that isn't susceptible to drift, is what I've heard.
Yeah, I think there's some magnets involved in there too. Something about the like magnetic travel distance or something like that to help reduce that Joy-Con drift. Basically, they're going full in on magnets.
Yeah, but I am really not concerned about the connector. I think magnets. It's a funny thing. Like they're easy to come out a certain way, but I think Nintendo's probably engineered this to where any way you're going to be trying to play with this, it's not going to come out unless you purposely are trying to get that thing out.
I don't know, because just looking at what we've seen, you've got just a complete even bar that an opening that the magnet is going to slot into, but sticking out of there, assuming that it is supposed to always be a straight slide in and out on the magnet, which the video makes it seem like that, and it's not on a rail. It is going to be, I feel like it is going to be so easy to drop that Switch and have one of those controllers, just turn on the side just enough to break out that board. And it's a reality that I'm really surprised. We'll say, I feel like it's going to be the Joy-Con strap or the Wiimote strap of the Switch.
I think you're wrong, but I guess we'll wait to know when we actually have these.
You understand what I mean by the Wiimote strap, right?
Well, I never owned a Wii. I have a Wii Mini now in my collection, but I still never owned a Wii. So my first Wii controller was when I got my Wii U.
Okay.
Back in the day, though, I understand they shipped these things without the condom things, without the straps. Like they just gave you a naked Wii remote, right?
Yes. See, and as an adult owner, I have never once thrown my Wiimote. I don't understand, but I can tell you that in the heyday of the Wii, because I was in the audience, so to speak.
I've thrown a Wii remote. What are you talking about?
The number of TVs I've seen with Wiimotes sticking out of them, like punctured the TV, because I don't understand how other people play video games, apparently. So it was a big deal, and I think it's gonna be a big deal on this little connector for Switch 2. I'm still excited. Don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to call it like I see it.
One thing I am very excited for is I fairly regularly get the thing when I'm playing handheld. Reconnect the Joy-Con. I can't see you, and it's infuriating when a game pauses because like it loses input because the Joy-Con, it's too loose in there or something. Like I've got to Switch OLED. This isn't a 7-year-old Switch, but these rails somehow don't keep the Switch Joy-Con.
That doesn't happen to me too often, but you're reminding me of another thing that I'm hoping will be, and maybe has been addressed in the hardware announcement, but like, do y'all have difficulty getting your TV input to Switch when you dock?
I rarely dock, so no comment.
I actually do have that issue on one of my projectors. That projector just absolutely did not like talking to the HDMI when it was connected to the Switch. But But I also don't have the Joy-Con issue that you're talking about, Tim. If I'm playing wireless, it stays connected.
No, if I'm saying wireless, it stays connected. If I'm playing handheld,
Semantic.
it
Oh, wait a minute.
handheld is not
connected?
wireless. Handheld is a physical connection.
Yeah. Oh,
It
wow.
doesn't use wireless when it's connected that way.
I
can
guess
throw
I was
airplane
thinking
mode on.
tabletop, not handheld. Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, handheld, it'll sometimes lose connection when I'm playing handheld.
No.
Yeah.
And
Very
Rob,
annoying.
it doesn't, like when you turn your Switch on, it doesn't go to your Switch for you.
It's hard to tell like what makes it work or not. I have to just like do this little dance where I try it a couple times. Sometimes I have to. Usually it works better if the game, like if the screen is lit up and it is not on the home screen. I think actually now I did some reading yesterday because I just couldn't get it to work no matter what I tried yesterday morning, and I was doing some reading. I think it might have something to do with battery life. Like I guess the dock in some instances doesn't. Like it doesn't have enough. If it doesn't have enough power, then the HDMI won't. I don't know.
Never
But
heard of this. Never.
maybe this
Yeah,
is
it's
just
crazy.
like not true at all. But there's like also I know there's different standards for HDMI, and a device has to have it like hard coded in. Like we have this thing in a different TV of the house that's like a kind of like a cheaply made but kind of an interesting product from Peloton where it like projects your classes onto the TV, but then it like analyzes your form. It has like a little camera analyzer thing in it, and that thing like 50% of the time when I turn it on will switch the input, and 50% will not. Whereas I have like newer and more modern like things that I consider to be like more the manufacturing to be more well considered, like the PS5, for example. I've never turned on the PS5 and not had the HDMI input switch immediately to the correct input.
Sure.
So
Yeah. Are we excited about slightly bigger buttons and Joy-Cons? I know, Jason, you have a third-party thing because it's not big enough.
Okay, well, actually, wait. It's not because it's not big enough. I'm going to be honest with you. Let me be real. I love the Hori Split Pad Pro. I like its size. I like, more importantly than its
D-pad.
Well, actually, it's the D-pad, and it's the size I like the most is its thickness, because the Joy-Cons matching the Switch are a really thin controller. And not that I have a problem with that. I actually find the Joy-Cons more than acceptable for what they are, but I'm not upset that we're getting a slightly larger Joy-Con. I was okay with the small, but I'm happy to have the bigger.
I wonder if they'll be even thinner. You saw in the video them slimming down the Switch a little bit.
Did the video show it slimming? I really didn't catch that part
You
of it.
saw at the beginning where it's like etching out this rounded corner thing.
Yeah, I didn't realize they shrank it too with that. I just figured they were.
Well,
just
I don't know if
rounding
it'll be
out the
slimmer
corner.
or not. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be slimmer or not, but
Gonna
yeah,
pull an Apple and
interesting.
talk about being 1 millimeter slimmer.
Yeah, why not?
No, I'm quite interested in getting the hands on for the size as well, because like we were talking about, and for reference, I just want to know, especially those sideways Joy-Con 2s, will they be more comfortable to use sideways? Both of them, no less, because
They've
Isn't it-
got to be.
isn't it and I because I don't use them that way. Which is the one that nobody likes using sideways? Is it the right Joy-Con or the left Joy-Con?
it's the right one because the stick is like so far centered.
There you go. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm
Right one.
curious to see if that people don't have such a complaint with that, or if with it being bigger, is that going to make the problem worse?
Yeah, I need to look at the Joy-Cons again in the video and see how the sticks are positioned there.
But let's be honest, as we're sitting here talking about the new Joy-Cons, we cannot ignore the leaked, but in my opinion, coolest, newest thing about the Joy-Con, and that is this mouse functionality.
Now, do you think it straps into something else to do this functionality? Because the rails don't seem super wide, like the mouse would fall over if you let go.
I'm gonna be real with you. I think the accessory that they put on there to use it as a mouse is just something to give spacing and or smoothness for easy glide, so that the optical sensor can just read more easily.
And so it doesn't fall over.
Yeah, but just to make it more stable type of thing.
Sure.
I'm really curious. I'm curious though, because like maybe it's just me. We haven't seen a lot of really good straight on from the back photos of the Joy-Cons. because I'm curious how the left and right will work independently as mice. Where are the triggers on them? How are the buttons going to work? I'm super excited for it,
Mhm.
especially like, there are certain games that are going to be so much better.
Civilization 7.
Civilization, Diablo, any first-person shooter.
Mario Paint.
It could have a comeback, absolutely.
Yeah. Mario Maker would be cool that way.
There's a lot of potential for the accuracy. I mean, like, remember when the Wii Pointer and everybody was really getting into that? They were so happy because it was so easy to get exactly what you wanted without a controller and using the pointer.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're taking that idea and going back to the 90s PC mice era, and I'm okay with that. I really am.
Now, does Nintendo sell a Nintendo keyboard? Would that be something?
You mean again?
Again, yeah. Well, they have the GameCube one, of course.
Well, they also, though I don't know if it was Nintendo, somebody released a keyboard for the Nintendo DS as well.
Did not see that one. But yeah, that would be cool if we could buy. Would it be USB or Bluetooth? Because we got USB ports on the bottom and top now. Like you could even dock the switch into this, like, you're on a table and they've got a little keyboard that you dock it into. I don't know.
Turn it
They do
into a
that.
little micro laptop almost.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
use
a little
a
gaming
scissor
setup.
hinge.
Sure. Oh,
No.
wow. That'd be interesting if they could.
I-
But I don't see them doing that. But
There is potential here. I mean, that's just it. They could almost turn their console into their own little micro laptop or something. I don't know. I'm not saying they would. Nintendo really does focus on the gaming of the gaming, but I think I would have I'd like a case that I could scissor close like that and turn it into a little portable gaming station.
yeah, I don't see it as something that folds close, but like you just pop it on there and maybe the keyboard folds up in some way to make it travel friendly. But yeah, it'd be interesting. I don't know. What do you think about it? Yeah.
Like I said, it's the only new feature we know about, but I really am intrigued and excited by the possibility of having a mouse.
You're muted, Robbie.
Thank you greatly. When I first saw that attribute of it, the first thing I thought of was not even like gameplay related. I just thought to myself, like, maybe one day someone will make a good browsing experience on a console that will allow me to, because like I'm always like dancing
Will
between.
they let you have a browser? Because that is a hack point.
Yeah, Nintendo of all people are the ones that I'm least likely to expect a browser out of, but I would love it. You're right.
Yeah, even Sony. Did you see this? If you send Google.com as a PSN message to somebody, they will flag it as a potentially dangerous link, and you could potentially have your account banned because they're trying not to have people use the browser, because they're probably seeing on the PlayStation 3 how you can just enter a URL now on the PS3 to jailbreak it without any more work than that, really.
Yeah, but okay, anybody who says that doesn't understand everything that went into getting to that point. As somebody who was in the PS3 hacking scene when it came out, the only reason we can do stuff like that with browser-based exploits is because we got deep enough in the PS3 when it was hacked that all of the keys have been decrypted and dumped, and there's no way for Sony to update those. And because those keys are decrypted and dumped, there's things they can do online that is signed as looking official and this, that, the other.
Yeah. But basically, web browsers are a great way to hack a device.
Yeah, I mean, I'd
Curious
still
if
love to
they'll-
see it, but Nintendo of all people is just
Now,
they're not.
Now, Microsoft Office, we getting that on Switch? Would they accept it into the store?
Okay, wait a second. We're jumping all over the place, but I have to because it's where the conversation is going. We may not get Microsoft Office, but the fact that we're getting Master Chief Collection rumored on the Switch is just a certain level of what timeline are we living in?
Would that have mouse support? Would every game have? Would you need third-party support to do mouse support? Or will this be a system-wide thing, where it'll just like replace what the mouse replaces a joystick? Is that how it works?
Or are you saying, like, what if you just like buy Call of Duty on it or something? Could you expect to just use the thing as a mouse in the same way you would on a PC? Yeah.
Yeah, like is the mouse support just replacing the right stick? Is that what a mouse does? I don't know. And then a button for clicking, I guess, on it.
I don't know if it would be universal. Like, I don't know if it could automatically work like that for everything. But I'm hoping that there's a simple SDK because, again, I mean, like mouse is the type of controller that people who play video games are constantly begging for.
Yeah,
And
I don't use them, and I'm always baffled. Like, you're faster with this mouse thing. I mean, I like my joysticks.
oh, you've never
but
played a first-person shooter with a mouse and keyboard?
I mean, it's been 2 decades probably. Counter-Strike back in the day, but
Oh, yeah, yeah, it makes a huge difference. And that also gets back to, I mean, I play on PlayStation, most of my first-person shooters on PlayStation, for example, Overwatch, and on the PlayStation 4, I bought an official mouse and keyboard accessory. Now, there are people who argue that that's cheating. It's not, mind you, it's not like a Switch that allows a mouse and keyboard to work. It is an official licensed by Hori mouse and keyboard. So, but there are people that think that's cheating. We'll take that out of the equation. If the controller becomes a mouse, therefore mouse and keyboard, what's cheating anymore?
yeah, I don't know. It would be interesting if you have certain lobbies that are, if you use a mouse, you got to be in this lobby.
I'd be curious if Nintendo is going to be able to even tell it, say, well, this is in mouse mode. There's a lot up for grabs
Yeah.
about it.
And yeah, I'm not sure how much I'll use this thing, but it'll be interesting to see.
Well, because I mentioned it. Have you played any Halos, Tim? I know we don't talk much.
Oh yeah, when I bought my Xbox One back in the day, you remember I got all the hardware on the same day. There was like 50%.
Oh, that was a big day for you. I forgot.
Yeah,
about that.
I got a Vita, a PS4, an Xbox One, all on the same day because Target had some stackable promo where I was getting like 40% off these suckers. Like, it
Right.
was a wild day. So on the Xbox, one of the games I got was that Master Chief Collection. I played 1 and 2 for sure, and I think most of 3. I want to say the campaigns. I didn't play multiplayer because who does that in Halo? I mean, that's silly.
Actually, you know what's funny? I do enjoy multiplayer Halo just because of, as a soldier, we were deployed and we played that so very much.
I'm sure. Yeah.
But I will tell you, Halo is a game that, as far as I'm concerned, Bungie set a standard for telling a good narrative in a first-person shooter because I love the story of Halo.
The Mac game that Microsoft stole. I wonder if this will come back to the Mac. I guess it had a Mac version I played back in the day. The original. I wonder if
Yeah, Halo Combat Evolved has come to Mac.
Yeah, I wonder if the whole collection would come. But this for sure will be a launch title of Switch 2, right? This would sell like gangbusters as a launch title.
Mind you, it hasn't even officially been announced yet, but yes, I do believe it
April
is.
April 2nd is when the big Switch Direct is. I gotta think this will be in the Direct, and I'm gonna love the little announcer. Come on the screen. Play as Master Chief to fend off the aliens and destroy ancient religions. Right? Like something like that,
Okay. As ridiculous as you sounded, the more you were talking, you're right. They do put those taglines in there for games, and that really did sound like something I would expect them to say.
Yeah, it could be ridiculous. But I'm excited for that moment. And I think it's going to be for Switch 2 launch because it'll sell. Microsoft needs money. They're like, gaming needs money. We bought Activision. Master Chief on Switch 2 launch. Let's
okay.
go.
I want to, if y'all don't mind, I kind of want to take the conversation, use that, and jump off. Speaking of buying games, and more importantly, rebuying some games, this is an area where I'm going to start giving Nintendo pushback, and that is, I'm not paying $70 for games that came out 2 generations ago.
On Wii U, you mean?
I don't care what system. Halo Master Chief Collection was $60 2 generations ago.
Microsoft sets the pricing. You do.
I totally understand that. I don't care Microsoft. I don't care Nintendo. Nintendo has their own dog in this fight when you consider that people mark up games on Nintendo consoles, especially because of the cost of cartridges.
Yeah.
So again, as much as like it might be the exception, and I have a collection.
I will
problem.
for sure buy this. I don't know if it's gonna be on PlayStation or Switch. Probably Switch though, I would say, because having that handheld, it's be such a different dynamic once PlayStation has their offline handheld. Like once the PS6 or 5 handheld model comes out, this equation is gonna get so much messier and probably lean towards PlayStation if I'm quite honest because of the trophy system. There's just like I'm a trophy sucker. Like,
yeah, but I'm not just talking for them though. It doesn't matter who the company is. $70 and again, Microsoft or not Microsoft, the Master Chief Collection will probably be my exception, mostly because I do like Halo and everything like that, and I have strong memories of the Halo franchise that I have a collection problem, so I might buy that and never even open it. But how many late PS3, early PS4 games am I willing to buy again for $70 just because now I can play them portable?
Now, PS3 games, let's get them all. I'm playing Grand Theft Auto 4. Let's get that sucker on modern. Like, I'm excited for old PS3 games. Let's get them on modern systems, like, because I hate them stranded on that hardware, so... but yeah, 70 is a steep price, and third parties, thankfully, they actually put their games on sale, unlike Nintendo. So not as much of an issue for. I'd imagine Halo would go on sale at some point in the next year after it comes out for a good price.
More likely digitally, though. And again, for you, that's not a problem. You digital, but I have a collection problem.
Physical sales, they go on deep discount there too. Sometimes it's funny because. I've gotten some games. I got the disc drive from PS5 now, and it's like, oh, this game is actually super cheap physically now. It didn't drop anywhere near this digitally, so it's sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, depending on which way you're going with that.
I was gonna say I got SMT5, which we'll talk about later, for like $20 by buying physical.
Yeah, I got Metal Gear Solid collection on Switch for like $20, and it never got that low digitally. So sometimes the carts get cheap. They overproduce them or whatever, and they're trying to clear out some stock or whatever it is. So it just depends, right? I mean,
yeah, that's the other problem with my collecting. I tend to collect things as they're new and hot, even if I'm not playing them right away. So I don't have a whole lot of sales.
Yeah, I'm a patient. I'm sometimes patient depending on the game. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. As far as physical games, they confirmed Switch cartridges will just pop in this thing. I wonder if Switch 2 cartridges will be shaped any differently and won't somehow fit in the Switch 1. Like if they'll be bigger in some way and it won't work.
Like they did with the 3DS cartridge.
Yep, 3DS to DS that had a little notch on it or something.
Well, if you want to go on the Wayback Machine, are you aware of what Nintendo did to prevent importing of Japanese Super Nintendo games?
No.
The Super Nintendo was hardware locked against imports by the import cartridge was slightly different shaped, and they put a different guide/tracer inside the console, so you would have to open your console and take that guide out, or a Japanese game would not fit in an American system.
Interesting. So that was their very barbaric way of region locking back then.
Yeah.
And they eventually got rid of region locking. Like Switch isn't region locked, but they did region lock up until very recently.
The DS is when they finally stopped region locking.
No, 3DS is region locks because I own a Japanese new 3DS because I wanted one Japanese system in my house. So I got it. 3D Switch is the first handheld they've done. I forget if the Wii or when that switched over for region locking there. I think Wii U is region free.
I thought it was a little bit sooner than 3DS, or a little bit earlier. Like I thought it was DS, but even then, I mean, like for the people who care about that, I guess I get it. But I feel like it's kind of like backwards compatibility that for 90% of the audience, it does not really matter.
Yeah, and there is less and less because back in the day, like I could play Super Smash Brothers like 3 or 4 months early because I got a Japanese system because it came out in like June versus September. So I was living the high life, and Kirby Triple Deluxe I played 2 months early. Like They don't do that as much these days of releasing games early.
Yes,
in
no,
Japan.
it's more of a global market these days. So
Yep.
yeah,
But yeah, those are some fun memories. Like, let me buy this, and I mean, the currency right now would be let me just buy this because it's cheaper. But
the only strong memory I have related to importing, I had imported a Japanese Game Boy Advanced and Castlevania Circle of the Moon, and played through that without being able to understand a lick of it up until somebody stole my Game Boy Advance and game.
yeah. Now, what I'm it's the Switch 2. It's kind of a bummer they don't have 2 cartridge slots on the Switch 2. That would be, they got 2 USB ports. Let's put 2 cartridge slots on there.
Actually, what's funny is if they put 2 cartridge slots, I would want the second one to be for DS, 3DS games versus Switch games.
That'd be cool. I don't know how I'd read those and play with those properly, but that'd be cool.
Okay, I've
it's got a USB port. Have a little screen you can attach to it in the bottom or whatever, or the top. Yeah,
it's gonna have a DS attachment instead of an add-on CD drive. It's an add-on DS drive.
Screen, yeah, add-on screen, yeah. That'd be fun.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah. What do we think that second USB port's for? Is it just better charging to have both options, top and bottom? Or we're going to see some weird accessories go on there, like a webcam you can pop up top or something.
I would love to just. I don't know if the dock will have anything to do with like the frame rate or the output, but if it for some reason doesn't, I would not mind being able to just plug it into the TV with a wire.
There are certain. I have a dock. There are aftermarket docks that do allow that, where it's just a cable. So I have some of those.
Okay, before I answer, I want to talk about docks real quick. Do either of you use third-party aftermarket docks?
Yes.
Tim, it sounds like you do. What about you, Rob?
I do.
Yeah, see, I'm curious if docks are going to be interchangeable or universal, because so far there's been no implication that the dock is going to have any kind of built-in power or tech, just like on the Switch 1. So it would imply that those would be universal. I'm just curious if they will be.
The power adapter, I've heard, needs more juice on this one. Maybe just for the dock, but it might need more power from
That's impressive when you consider that the Switch 1 already had a pretty strong USB-C power supply.
Is what, 40 watts? What is that? It's a weird number. It's not a standard.
Yeah, but it was strong. That having been said, I have no reason to believe this would happen, but when you're talking about the 2 USB ports, I have a couple of pie-in-the-eye dreams for it. One, it would be really great if, yes, not only could you dock it, but let's say you wanted to do either a different kind of multiplayer, or they made some sort of a power expansion, so you could put it into the dock, and then like they have external GPUs, for example, for laptops.
Yeah, eGPUs. Yep.
Yeah, imagine if you could get an eGPU for your Switch that uses that top port, or real pie in the sky. This is me just talking out of my butt here, and the chip that they use in the Switch 2 is low powered and universal enough that essentially I would love to see some kind of dock that you could put the Switch 2 into, and that uses one USB-C port, and then you could have a headset that could use the other USB port to turn the same Switch into a portable, standalone, potentially VR device. Just say, I mean, that's just
yeah.
I'm hoping that they do something with having 2 ports, like you said, with 2 ports and them being on opposite sides. There's potential for it, and
It's
really
weird though, because the dock surely will have USB ports as well, so you don't really need to plug into the system itself when you're docked.
Except for, I would rather a USB port that is 1 USB-C and 2 directly on the system versus having to go through a second USB controller and bus by having to go through the dock first.
Sure, but with eGPU, I'd rather have just plugged into the dock, and whenever I'm plugged into the dock, it gets that too.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see what they do with that extra thing.
I'm actually a little bit hopeful that there's going to be some kind of eGPU. There's been so much talk about it that the Switch 2 would have an upscale dock or whatever. The inclusion of the second port might be how they make that happen.
Yeah, we'll see. Be interesting, and doing that in handheld will be fun too. You know,
Carrying around two different huge bricks.
yeah, why not? Or just for your bed, you know, next to your bed, you got your eGPU running.
Going to get a backpack accessory for your Switch. It's got a battery, an eGPU.
Yeah, gotta make that Mario Kart look good.
Speaking of Mario Kart, are we excited for 24 Mario Kart racers?
That's the gimmick we're thinking. It'll have 24 characters in the starting line. Bigger courses resulting from this, probably wider courses.
Also the course looks really kind of sparsely designed. I wonder if that's what's up with that.
Yeah,
I've heard some speculation,
I think they were trying to show as little as possible.
Very much so. It was like they're just like to investors. Yes, we have a new Mario Kart. Be quiet. That's pretty much what
I think that's why they showed such a Spartan track or such a sparse track, is they're just trying not to show anything. But also, I know I need to boot up Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because the basis for the 24 racers was because they count 24 potential start lines on the floor for the racers. And I've never paid attention if that number was accurate or just a representation. But that is the only evidence, because you never see more than even 12, less yet 12 people on screen. So I'm curious if that does end up happening.
But you can have as many as 8 controllers hooked up to the Switch. I wonder if they'll expand that number on Switch 2 in any way. Can you imagine? I don't know. I can't imagine really. But
and that 8 though, doesn't that require 4 Joy-Cons plus a GameCube adapter?
I think so. Something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
so
It's for Smash Brothers and some other games I think can do 8. But I gotta say, I'm excited for new Mario Kart. I got Mario Kart in May of 2014. This Mario Kart 8 on my Wii U. So we're going into 11 years with Mario Kart 8. So.
It's interesting having it, gone that long, because like I'm a little bit, on the one hand, part of me is burnt out on Mario Kart 8, but also
it's been 11 years.
I had it on the Wii U, so I've had it a while, but they just keep releasing content, and I almost wonder like if the way they've been treating Mario Kart this past almost decade is like
live service.
I had wondered if it was preparing Mario Kart for a different kind of future, where it was like not pay to play necessarily, but something with like a more modern concept of like, okay, like you sort of have the core game, but then from there we just sort of extend it for all eternity and do maintenance on it. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, but maybe like link it up to their Nintendo Online. The idea of like a new game is kind of cool and exciting after having because I think they do need to change it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
For
sure.
I don't know. I very much enjoyed Mario Kart 8, but this is the part where I get heretical. I enjoyed Mario Kart Wii more than Mario Kart 8 because I felt and now I'm going to get even more heretical. The motion controls in Wii were excellent. I feel like it got dumbed down in 8, and I absolutely I will dominate with motion controls on Mario Kart Wii. I play controller on every other version. Mario Kart Wii was phenomenal. It had great motion controls. I loved using, popping the controller to do tricks and everything.
I love that too.
Mario Kart Wii was better than Mario Kart 8.
I'll back you on this, and I'll go even further and say that actually I think Double Dash is the best Mario Kart, which might even be an even worse thing to say. But I definitely have the most fond memories of playing the Wii version with other people. And I had 4 of the steering wheel attachments.
The biggest mistake of Mario Kart 8 was you had the Wii U. Why the heck couldn't it be in a Double Dash where you had someone with the Wii U gamepad as the second driver attacking? And
very, very good question. The thing is, is Mario Kart 8, even when it was new, and especially when it was re-released for the Switch, just has a very I don't know. Maybe I'm going to get in trouble and upset people by saying this, but like, do you know how like the last, like, you know, the sort of like entire movie and TV landscape right now is like just a rehashing of old content, and everything has this sort of like algorithmic feeling to it, like a feeling of like, this looks premium. This is all of the characters and stories that you like, but is there actually anything being said in the story, or anything new being explored creatively? I don't know if I necessarily feel that way. That's how Mario Kart 8 feels to me.
I liked the anti-gravity thing. I thought that was kind of a cool idea. I don't know if they will kill that off though, and just forgo that.
It was cool to see. It was a cool looking gimmick, but it was really not anything different. I mean, like, there weren't entire anti-grav maps. The game didn't entirely play differently. It was just cool looking maps. I don't consider that a real mechanic like Double Dash. And I say that the more heretical statement, Robbie, over calling Double Dash the best is to say, boy, I completely skipped the GameCube generation originally, and I've never played Double Dash. But actually, according to a lot of people, Double Dash is like a dark horse favorite.
Happy to be feeling validated by that take there.
Yeah. So again, for me, what is Tim trying to? Oh, he's got a game. Who has CD wallets anymore? Anyways, yeah, no, I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they do with it, because you're right, they haven't done a whole lot new, in my opinion, and according to them, that's one of the reasons they haven't done an F-Zero game, is they couldn't figure out something new, to do with the show or the series.
Here we go. Mario Kart
Double Dash.
Yeah, this is my CD wallet. It's got all my Wii U games, and please nobody steal it.
I'm disappointed you don't have a mini CD wallet just for GameCube games, Tim. If you're gonna have a CD wallet, you got to do it right.
Yeah, my GameCube collection so far consists of Super Mario Brothers Melee, Luigi's Mansion, Metro Prime 2, Wave Race, Spider-Man, Super Monkey Ball, Minority Report, Classic.
I didn't even know there was a Minority Report game, unless you had one for GameCube.
Metroid Prime 1, Star Wars Clone Wars, which I also own on PS2. It's in the same binder. Mario Golf, Knockout Kings 2003, and then Mario Kart. That's and also Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron 2, Rogue Squadron 3.
No Resident Evil 4, huh?
No RE4. I got Sunshine in there. I got King Kong, Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Wow.
And I got Enter the Matrix. This is a classic collection of games.
Yeah, it's a collection, all right.
Have you never played Minority Report on the GameCube?
I didn't even know it existed.
Was it the GameCube or the Wii that had a remake of GoldenEye?
Wii, and that
Xbox
was
first.
pretty cool. Yeah, and that's a pretty cool remake.
God, I remember the original GoldenEye. Man with the golden gun mode, where everybody has one-shot kills and.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have the golden Mario Kart wheel I imported from Japan. Remember when Club Nintendo had good rewards, and I have the full collection of the gold accessories somewhere in storage.
As a matter of fact, not only do I have a full collection of the gold accessories, I still have a Wii or a Zelda Skyward Sword you can barely see here with the gold remote in box.
Wow. Yeah, I used that sucker. The gold
and then
nunchuck. I got the gold nunchuck too. Yeah.
You can barely see right here. That is the Wii U Wind Waker with the figure still inside of it.
Yes, very nice. I own Wind Waker on Wii U like 3 times. I have the unopened box like you do. I've got the regular CD or DVD, and I've got it digitally. I love that game. I own it 3 ways on the same system.
Actually, here is the part where I know I have a problem. I need you guys to understand. I know I have a problem. I haven't played Wind Waker.
Jason,
I own
after
it.
today's show, you need to turn on your Wii U and get to work. That is my favorite Zelda game ever made.
All right. Are you
I
ready
would
for this?
say.
You ready for this? I haven't played it either. I've only watched my wife play it.
Bruh, at least you have that. Jason, I don't think you have that, do you? No.
Yeah, no, my wife
Can I-
definitely does not play many games, so I have not
I will-
watched my wife play it.
Do you want to also know my weird relationship to Zelda games? I've played like 90% of several Zelda games, but Tears
Never
of the
finished
Kingdom is the first one I finished.
Wow. Wow.
The only Zelda game I have finished is Ocarina of Time, and I've finished it multiple times.
This is very saddening because I got to Zelda late in life. I didn't play it as a kid.
I played
mean,
the Game Boy one. That was my first one.
And
And I got about 90% through it.
Yeah, I've beaten all of the modern ones except for Twilight, which I got bored with. But man,
Besides my collection problem, like I've said, I have a problem.
you don't
finishing
finish games either, or start
Yeah.
Wind Waker
Well, it'll be on my list, but like I have played.
this
You know,
year, Jason. If we record January 2026 and you have not finished this, there will be hell to pay.
I'm booted off the island. Is that it?
There will
I
be
have
hell to
1
pay.
year.
Yes, 1 year. Oh,
It is
gosh.
on my list. And you know what?
Do you think it's
Maybe-
coming to Switch in this upcoming year, or Switch 2?
No. I think based off of what we're hearing, the launch lineup of the Switch 2 is going to have some real potential bangers, right? We're talking
Yeah.
new Mario Kart. Again, third party, we were just talking about. I'm sorry, Master Chief Collection, you're right. That's probably going to really move some numbers there.
Yep.
Metroid is
Metroid.
coming out this year. Those 3 games alone, are going to want some space.
I think
especially
we're
from-
getting a Mario platformer, a 3D Mario.
That seems likely.
It's been a while for that team.
Seems likely to me. Yeah.
It
And
does
maybe,
seem
like,
likely.
And
Pokemon something maybe.
Pokemon ZA is coming to Switch and hopefully runs a lot better on Switch 2. And I'm thinking launch this summer, like July. And if you have launch games in July, then you probably have time for another big round in September, October for another set of big games.
Okay, I mentioned it, but if we're talking launch and separate rounds, is Metroid Prime going to launch with the Switch 2, or is it going to launch later around Christmas?
Launch with the Switch 2, and it's like Twilight Princess, and it's on Switch and Switch 2.
Okay, like Twilight Princess, where it comes out on Switch 2 first, and then comes out on Switch 1 2 months later?
Is that what happened?
Yes, Twilight Princess got delayed on Wii U over Switch.
No.
No,
GameCube
I'm sorry. Wait a minute.
and,
No, I'm sorry. On
GameCube and Wii.
okay, then I might be thinking Breath of the Wild. Is Breath of the Wild the one that was opposite? I think Breath of the
Probably.
Wild then came out
Wait,
on
is
Switch
is
first.
Breath of the Wild on the Wii U?
Yes,
Yes, it is.
Really?
And they really
Yes.
dumbed down. They dumbed down the gamepad. It used to. I think it had much more rich gamepad support until they decided to bring it to Switch. Is my
Yeah, so-
thoughts.
I think that maybe it's the one of those two. I don't remember which one, but one of those two came out on the newer generation first, and then about 2 months later came back on the old generation.
Wow. I still need to get a disc of Breath of the Wild on Wii U just to have it.
I think those are hard to come by now.
Let's see what eBay is doing.
And I don't disagree. Like I kind of I kind of want it for my collection, and I say that as somebody who I have finally come around and admitted I appreciate a lot that went into it. I did not like Breath of the Wild.
Those breakable weapons.
Yeah, it was a choice that outright destroyed gameplay for me. Speaking of which, speaking of choices kind of destroying gameplay, and I see Robbie might be dropping out, so might have to come back to this. Hold on. Yep. I'll come back to. I need to talk about Shin Megami Tensei 5 with Rob when he comes back.
Yeah. As far as the price of the Switch, I think at most $400. The Switch 2.
Current retailers, apparently a couple of retailers had let slip that they were projecting or had SKUs for $350.
That would be great.
which is the
I
same
don't, I
price
yeah.
as the OLED right now.
Oh, that is. Yeah, because I think at most 400. Nintendo, they still want to be a family-friendly system. I think 350 would be amazing. And
They
projecting at 20 million sales, they need to price it low enough to move units.
and this is where I'm going to be the weird person and say that one, while 350 would be great, I am completely happy with and expecting 400, and I think that's a good price point. I don't believe 400 is too expensive by a long shot, and that's as somebody who I was complaining about paying $70 to rebuy the same game. My issue is the repay, not the price itself, because I don't mind new games being $70. The video game market has not increased and inflated in price anywhere near like the rest of markets in general. So there's definitely room for some price increases to go on here. And I would rather pay $400 for a console that I like what it's doing versus $350 for a console that is going to get obsolete fast.
Yeah. Do you think this thing will just have an LCD screen and no OLED option? Do they do two SKUs, like a deluxe SKU that has a better screen?
They are not. They are not going to launch with any kind of. If there is more than one SKU, the differences will be entirely based off of storage space and or color. I do
or
not
a game
see,
bundled in.
Yes, I do not see them having an OLED model within the first handful of years. I don't see them having OLED without doing like a pro model almost.
Yeah. I do wonder how good this screen will be. I'm sure it's been great. I mean, the Portal screen is phenomenal for an LCD.
I thought the Portal was OLED.
No, it's not. It's a really good looking LCD screen.
Okay, first of all, it's not OLED. Are you sure it's LCD, not LED? Because that's the
It
other
might be
thing.
LED. It might
Because that's
be
the other
LED.
thing is the Switch 2 is rumored to be, even if it's not OLED, it could be mini LED.
That'd be nice. Because I do wonder, like, will there be occasions where I want to pull out my Switch OLED for those blacky blacks still? I don't know.
Considering I've completely skipped the Switch OLED, I don't think I will be tempted to do that.
Oh, you're still the OG. Robbie, are you installed OG Switch land?
I have 2 original Switches.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, when
so
you
I'm
say
only one on the
original,
OLED.
do you mean original, like before they did the ever so tiny refresh where they changed the battery life and did 1 or 2 other things? Or do you mean original?
When did this original Switch come out?
2017?
Like what month? Because I got it. It was like a early summer.
March or April.
Okay, I got it in the early summer, so like maybe June.
Then yes, you have a launch.
Yep.
It was about a year later that they kind of they quietly refreshed it, and it I don't remember everything they did, but the biggest thing they did was it ended up increasing battery life a little bit.
Interesting. Do you have people you'll hand down your Switch to, Jason?
Everybody in my house has their own Switch.
Okay. And Robbie, price point of the Switch 2. Jason was saying 350 is rumored, but 400 maximum is what I was saying.
That's 350 seems low to me, but I don't know. 4. I'm expecting a number with a 4 in front of it. I think at least,
or 399.
But I feel like there's no way it's on the receipt not going to have a 4. Also, like I'll probably buy something with it, right?
Sure. You might get a game. One often would. I remember with the Switch Lite, I was like, let me get all these accessories. I got the battery charging. I got the battery charging grip where you put the Joy-Cons in there that charge while playing a game. I got all sorts of stuff that I don't know.
I
where
bought
the
that
heck
same
it
grip.
is.
The battery burnt out on mine like within a month. Within
That's
a month,
great.
it
That's
just
great.
burned
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I have so many Switch accessories just lying there. I collected Joy-Cons for a little bit. There was like a 6 month to a year period. I've got a bag of Joy-Cons. I've got a rainbow full of. I don't want to think about how much money I spent on stupid Joy-Cons because it's way too much.
I the only Joy-Cons I bought, other than I bought my Hori split pad. I haven't bought anything so much so I don't even know where the official Joy-Cons are for my Switch. I have to find my official Joy-Cons.
Yeah, I got the neon pink, green, yellow, blue. purple. I think I have purple in there. I got the full freaking rainbow. I got all of them for a while there.
But then again, like I didn't buy a bunch of Wiimotes either, with an exception of I did buy the entire line of Nintendo character Wiimotes.
Oh, those were great. You had the
Yes,
Mario and the Peach and the Toad.
There was-
Yep.
Mario, Luigi, Peach, Bowser, and Toad. And I have all of those.
You know, we should have another year of some character. Year Luigi was a great year. I mean,
Year of Luigi was fun. I feel like Nintendo could have done a little bit more, but it was fun, and I did appreciate that.
yeah, for sure. Storage. What's the current Switch have on board? I need to look
32
here.
gigs.
Is it that measly? I know I have like a terabyte card in mine, but
I think it's 32 gigs. I don't know. I don't have my Switch in arm's reach. I was looking for some other stuff.
data management. I've got 18 gigs free. I think it's probably 64 on the OLED. Yeah. I can't really tell though because it doesn't tell
But
you.
speaking of storage size, again, I've seen two rumors. One says 128 gigs, and the other one said 256 gigs.
It's got to be 256. I don't see them going. That seems cheap enough to put in there, and I don't. They want people
Well-
to buy games digitally, right?
Except for this is an area Nintendo has been. A Nintendo fan or not, we got to be honest about who Nintendo is. And I hate to break it to everybody, it's not just being behind the ball. There is a little bit of being cheap in so much as remember the Wii U launched with a white 8 gigabyte model that couldn't store a single game.
Yeah, I remember that. We're not on that time though anymore. Are we?
But what about Nintendo makes you think the Switch doesn't have enough storage? The Switch has enough storage for a handful of small games, but third party, big games, you have to get an SD card right away. There are entire games right now that you can buy that you buy the cartridge, and when you buy the cartridge, it tells you an SD card is required because there's so much downloadable content.
Yeah, that's fair.
So take those facts and add in that Nintendo supposedly is working on some really awesome magic, allowing for extreme compression in textures and visual things to allow higher resolution with smaller file sizes. That's what they're supposedly doing to allow them to stick with cartridges instead of, joining a better, larger medium. So I'm worried that 128 could be a real number.
Yeah, 64 on the OLED, 32 on the launch model.
Yeah,
so
32
it could be
gigs.
128 because that's double, and it's like, oh, we're doubling it.
And they're going to come out like an Apple type of with double the storage we've ever had, 120. And it's I
Yep.
see it coming.
And the Lite has 32 gigs as well.
Do you all have a recommended SD card brand for this kind of thing? Because I would like to in advance think about this. I always undershoot it and then get into trouble, and I'm gonna buy the biggest SD card my money can buy. When
Do we think they're going micro SD again, or are they going to change formats to a different card format?
I'll guarantee they're going to stay micro SD.
Yeah.
It's an industry standard that they're already using, that they have now used for technically 2 generations because it was used on both the 3DS and the Switch.
Yeah, and there's not room for like the fast SSDs, right?
Right.
Like, because what is the Steam Deck uses? It has this weird SD format.
NVMe.
I thought it was a square kind of SD
Yeah,
card,
I'm
Robbie.
pretty sure it uses an NVMe.
That's
drive.
a long rectangle like the PS5.
It doesn't have to be.
Oh, so it's
That's
different
the
form
connector.
factors of that. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, is it possible that they require fast storage and need something like that, the square form factor like the Steam
No.
Deck does?
No.
No? You're so
the
certain. are you?
only place Nintendo is going to go proprietary is with their cartridges that they're going to continue to do. Rob, as for your actual question, I'll be honest. I'm generally, and I'm going to make myself sound really stupid with this. Was it SanDisk or SanDisk?
Yeah, that's I think what I got to.
It is just the reliable default brand. They have good speeds.
How big can you buy one of those these days?
I know you can get a terabyte.
I definitely have a terabyte in mine.
Okay.
I think
Can you get a
Nintendo
bigger
supports
one?
up to 2 terabytes, maybe.
I was gonna say I gotta go big this next time around.
Well, I see. I'm not sure you should, because, like, me personally, I'd much rather, because when you get to the top end of the memory card, you would probably be able to get 2 1 terabytes for cheaper than you could buy a 2 terabyte.
Tell me, do you all do that? Do you like switch out your SD cards?
No, I just get the biggest one that fits, and damn the price.
I don't, because I do physical games, so I
Yeah.
switch out my game card. Like, I don't need a huge, but even then I still do. I have at least a 512 gig in my Switch, which is funny because I don't have any. The only games I have digitally on my Switch are games that do not have physical releases.
Yeah.
The Switch supports. Oh, this is an old story. Definitely 1 terabyte. It's unclear if the Switch will work with 2 terabytes at this time.
But you also will need to be careful. That's one of the reasons I said I go with the SanDisk brand, is you're going to find, especially some third-party cheap, and I'm not trying to be prerogative, but Chinese brands, that it's actually a scam. You get the card, you put it in, and when you format it, it shows less usable space. So yeah, stick with just a standard SanDisk brand, whatever like that, and you'll be just fine, Robbie.
Sounds good.
Over there. Let's see, games, blah, blah, blah. Well, I do think that covers most of the actual Switch 2 stuff.
For sure. It's a slightly bigger screen, which we kind of mentioned a little bit. But yeah, I think we'll have more to talk to next time. I want to dive into the games we've been playing for a little bit here. We have about 20 minutes before we need to wrap.
I think you've been playing the most, so why don't you lead off?
Yeah, family's out of town, so I brought up my super slim PS3 to the family room and took over the TV there. It's been a while since I've had a couch to, play on. And Grand Theft Auto 4. I have been playing the crap out of this game this past week. I'm at about mission 60 out of like 86 or 88 from what I can tell on the list of missions online, and I think I'll be finishing this game in the next couple days. Grand Theft Auto 4. I finished 3, and I'm almost finished with Vice City on the Switch, but I jumped to 4. Let me knock this one out. Really wildly different as far as controlling the cars. At first, it's like, oh, this doesn't feel good at all. And then I'm in the point where I'm a master of driving these cars. I'm having so much fun with that. The story is really compelling. It's a bit darker with some of the stuff going on.
Did anything compel you to play it on PS3 over PS4 or PS5?
It's not available on PS4 or PS5. On
Grand Theft Auto
PlayStation
4?
No.
Wait a minute, I'm thinking 5. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
Six is the new one
this
coming
game
out.
is locked on. If you have a Steam Deck, you can play it on PC or whatever. If you have PC, you can play on PC. But it's a 360 game, which will run on the Xbox Series consoles backwards compatible. But PS3, if you're in Sony's ecosystem, you got to boot up that old PS3. And I'm getting some new PS3 trophies, and some of the missions, they're thrilling. Like trying to escape the cops when you're like 3 stars and helicopters are after him. Like I just one camera, like run to the subway. Oh, the subways aren't running when I'm being chased down, and like I've had some very heart pounding moments of just trying to escape the cops in this game, and it's like, oh, this is fun. This is good. And yeah, some of the missions are just they're wild, and I did have to check on some walkthroughs how to escape the cops here. It's like, oh, there's a boat parked out back in this mission. I can just jump in the boat and like, because some of the missions are just wild with that stuff. But yeah, Grand Theft Auto 4. It's interesting seeing the evolution game of the game since I've been doing these so rapidly back to back, 3, Vice City, and seeing as these evolve. And this one has some decisions as to which character you want to kill or keep alive. And it's just been interesting to see the evolution of these games. And the cell phone mechanic, I think, is really cool. You can call up these different people. This world feels like a live world. And there's character relationships, and it feels like Grand Theft Auto 4. It's like an immersive sim almost, and I wish it was on modern consoles so I could really dive into it further than just kind of mainlining it and getting through it as fast as I can kind of thing. But Grand Theft Auto 4, I really hope we see this as a remaster soon on modern hardware.
Big question. Cheat codes or no?
I didn't know cheat codes were a thing. I guess they are.
Oh my God, like cheat codes are one of the biggest parts about the Grand Theft Auto world, especially at least, I'm pretty sure it continued into Grand Theft Auto 4, but the 3 generation, Grand Theft Auto 3 and its sequels, oh my God, like.
I've not touched them.
Yeah, like
they're in the remakes, I would imagine.
There are cheat codes that are, I mean, they're made to be put in over and over. Like there's a cheat code that you can put in to just all of a sudden drop your stars down to 0 where you're not being chased anymore.
That's amazing. And it's wild to me that this game released on PS3. Grand Theft Auto 5 also released on PS3. That's wild to me. I kind of forgot Grand Theft Auto 5 was a PS3 game originally.
Yeah, you forgot the Grand Theft Auto 5 has been an industry standard for like 20 years, it feels like.
PS3, 4, and 5. There's negative versions in all of them. So, yeah, and I'm almost done with Vice City. I'm towards the very end of that game. Huge step forward from 3. Wow. You can buy property, which is really cool. The storyline's nice. I love the vibrant color scene of everything going on there. The missions, there's less missions in here that you want to just throw your hands up and give up on. Yeah, everything's just much nicer. It's amazing they built this thing in a year. Vice City was created in a single year that they just knocked that out.
Are you going to go back and play the 2D Grand Theft Autos?
Doubtful. I have not heard amazing things.
You haven't heard amazing things about them?
No,
I remember really getting down with those quite a long time ago.
Yeah, I actually prefer those over the 3D
I've heard
one.
Chinatown is absolutely excellent.
No. When I say the 2D
1 and 2.
Yes.
I heard the frame rate like chugs on 2, especially. Am I mistaken?
Okay, it's been long enough since I've played. I can't promise that.
Okay. But maybe. But my goal is to get through 4 and 5 by the time 6 comes out. And I think I'm on my way there, and as well as San Andreas. I'll play that as well. So those are the ones on the docket for sure. But yeah, 4 has been really impressive. Just like it's just such a leap forward from the 3 generation. Like it's just whoa, this is something else. Yeah, wild, good game. You're not a big Grand Theft Auto person, Jason, is that right?
I wish I was. I appreciate everything they do technically, but the game itself, and I may try it again with Grand Theft Auto 6. There are several franchises that I keep trying just to see because of everybody talking about them.
Yeah, like Elden Ring was that for me. I tried Dark Souls, and it's like Elden Ring got me into the franchise, and now I love that whole franchise kind of thing.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll try it again, but and again, I will always sing the praises of what Rocksteady or Rockstar does technically between the Red Dead series and Grand Theft Auto. I mean, they make some of the most interconnected and immersive worlds. Technologically, they move the industry forward. I just wish I liked their games more.
Sure. What's you, Robbie?
Yeah, I've dabbled in all of them. I'm not a huge fan, but I will say that Red Dead Redemption, the atmosphere of that game kind of captured my attention for a little longer. I think it's...
I love Red Dead.
Yeah.
Both 1 and 2 are great.
It has there are lots of similarities to be drawn, but I think like a lot of the time these are just sort of like fun worlds to get lost in the detail of and just sort of get distracted by all the various things they've handcrafted into them. And I think I just a little bit more enjoy doing that in like a less urban environment.
It is wild in 4 how you gotta be careful about getting ran over when you're walking the streets. These guys, the drivers in this game, they're it's wild. And then also you can break the law as long as you don't crash into a cop car. Run all the stoplights you want. I also love how the pretty much any car you can almost drive between the 2 cars on a lane. Like if you're on a highway, there's always room, even if you're in a big semi truck or big pickup truck, to like drive between all the cars. Like they kind of designed it in a way where, especially I'll go in first person mode for driving because it's I find easier in this game for most things, and I can navigate pretty well throughout the city without needing to hit too many things. Yeah. Oh, another hilarious thing in 4 is you can hijack these cars, and if there's multiple passengers in them, sometimes you can leave fast enough where the passengers will stay in the car and be flipping out the entire time. It's like, let me out of here. You're insane. Like, they're just yelling at you. It's bonkers, just like the comedy involved in that. And then the radio in 4 is so much better than the previous ones. They had this crazy talk show stuff going on. They're talking about, you want the perfect baby, let's craft one genetically for you. Like all sorts of wild stuff in the 4 radio.
What I do appreciate about the radio is at least they made original radio content versus licensing other stuff. And I say that because like that would prevent re-release later, kind of like it did with the Tony Hawk series.
Mm-hmm. For the music, at least, like I'd imagine they could do the talk show stuff as re-released. So
yeah,
but there are some really good banger songs too. I'm curious what the radio will be like in 6. Like podcasts will be a huge part, and they mentioned podcasts a little bit in this and MP3s and stuff. Yeah,
I wonder if they'll make it where kind of like on Gran Turismo, you can just plug in your other music source and give it the credentials and it'll log.
You can do that, I think, on 5. Where you
really?
Can open up Apple Music or Spotify on PS5 and it'll play from that, like it does in Gran Turismo. I'm pretty sure I heard that somewhere.
Oh, there you go. That's what they're going to do for music.
Yeah. I think that's all I have to say about that for now. Robbie, what all do you have to say?
I'm happy to have a game, a couple, game people in my life being synced up with a few. I've got a friend I'm working through Dark Souls 2 alongside. I know, Tim, you've been working on the Final Fantasy remakes a little bit. I'm
on Rebirth. I'm about 10 hours in.
That's about, I'm about a little, I probably spent about as much time, but I think I'm doing less side stuff.
I'm definitely loving the overworld, Chadley's quests. I'm doing all of them. I 100%ed the first area, and I'm close to doing that for the second area.
That's cool. That is a lot more side stuff than I have been doing, but I will say it's, I've been enjoying and really taking my time, at least, enjoying every bit of the story and all of that I can. I also say I'm doing SMT5 Vengeance. So I'm synced up with each of you right now.
I'm glad we're talking about SMT5. Robbie, I need you to convince me this game is worth me continuing to play right now.
I'm like 7 hours in, maybe. I don't know. I'm like at a level 11, and I don't think I have like made it anywhere, really.
And okay, I'm still, like 18, 19 hours in. I'm sitting at like level 25, and I have no problem with grinding, right? But like this game doesn't compel me to. And part of it also, I realized one of the things that pissed me off about grinding with this game was I hate the fact that I can, because you get all these different demon fusion recipes, and I only, after 1 or 2 attempts, learned that if it tells you that the demon is a level 4 demon, if you use a level 15 and a level 7 fodder to make a level 4 demon, it comes out as a level 4 demon. And it's just, it actively not progresses, but it's a hurdle that it doesn't explain well, because it doesn't really, there's a lot of things it doesn't explain. And lastly, the story still hasn't convinced me it's going anywhere. Rob, I'm 25 hours in, and I'm 16 hours in, and I'm stuck in the same alter world that you're currently grinding in.
Is this like the sandy apocalyptic Tokyo? Yeah. I don't know if the atmosphere, I have not seen a lot of videos or screenshots. I haven't like really watched a lot about this game other than like some trailer stuff. I have not really seen any gameplay that exists outside of this atmosphere, though I know that a lot of gameplay trailers tend to have lots of focus on the beginning hours of the game. I don't know if this game will stick for me. I do like that it is some of the cool gameplay mechanics of the Persona series, although it does not have the, in my opinion, as crunchy a user interface for the turn-based stuff as, like, I think Persona gets some stuff right. I just think it's a little chatty for my taste. So I don't know. I'm kind of enjoying it, but I'm not like 100% loving it. I don't think the story is gonna pick up, by the way. I'm told that it is very Dark Soulsy and abstract and like just sort of pseudo spiritual without a whole lot of like concrete events that happen in it.
Like, I do like the broad strokes of. I feel like instead of a story, I like the broad strokes of the setting that they're establishing. You know, this pseudo post-apocalyptic, little bit in the future Tokyo that was torn apart. That apparently there was a big fight between demons and angels, and I like the setting, but the story itself isn't moving me. Heck, the story doesn't even feel like I'm trying to find people to go home right now. I don't even know really why I'm here, other than I'm really disappointed with this game. I was hopeful.
Yeah, I mean, do you like the collecting part of it though? Because that's
I think I would if there was a better way to check them out and or store them, kind of like Pokemon. I'm limited to like what? I think I can have like 8 or 10 demons with me at any time right now, but that's because I have leveled up that ability. But there's no storage for all the demons I don't want to use because I love collecting. I would love for them to have a demon hall for me to just have all my demons roaming around. But they don't, so I can't. And it's like playing Pokemon and saying you can only play with these 6 Pokemon, and if you change your mind, you have to do that by letting someone else go, but you can change your mind as many times as you want.
Yeah, if the collecting aspect of it doesn't feel reinforced by the mechanics, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna stick. If it's got nothing else, I'm not sure if it'll stick for me too. I will say after Final Fantasy, next on my list is definitely Metaphor, which from the 10-hour demo.
That could be a Switch 2 game as well.
You know what? I think it would be very perfectly suited to the Switch. I will want to play it sooner than it will probably come out. Yeah. So I'm just gonna do it on the TV. But
is that streamable on PlayStation Plus?
No. Well, no. Only if you
own it digitally.
No,
right?
Not on the portal, but it's streamable just on PS5.
Okay.
Because you can stream all your purchases on PS5,
right.
but not on the portal yet.
Yeah. So, technically, like I've played it on the Steam Deck through the. Is it pronounced Chiaki? Whatever Linux-based,
sure,
hacky thing. Actually, it works. It works pretty well, to be clear. But so I've played a little bit of Metaphor demo on handheld in that way, and it was actually pretty decent. But I think it's probably like the best distillation of all of those Altus. Sure. Persona SMT series like gameplay. It seems like the first one that's really like dialed in the storytelling atmosphere and gameplay to where it's like really tighter and less of too much of the stuff that I don't like about the other games they've put out.
I want to mention just real quickly, I forgot, with Grand Theft Auto 4, I discovered some mission 60 or 50. Like at mission 50, I discovered I can retry a mission I failed with the cell phone often by pulling up this little thing. I didn't know you could do this for the first 20 hours of the game, which is wild. I just randomly hit a button. It's like, you want to retry this thing you failed? Yes, please. So I wasn't having to drive all the way out there and restart it. So that was a cool discovery. And then the taxi system is really cool, where you can just use a taxi to get anywhere in the world. You can call your friend Roman, and he can send you a taxi car as well. So the taxi system's really cool. You can make the taxi car driver get in the crashes and stuff by telling him to hurry, which is just hilarious to me. It's like it's great. Yeah, it's great. But anyways, those are just 2 things I just forgot.
Well, I might, I don't know how much longer I'm going to keep trying to give Shin Megami Tensei 5. I might probably at least get to the 30-hour mark, double where I'm at, just to see.
50 hours where it really gets good, I hear.
Okay, you're being sarcastic, but JRPGs, it is not uncommon to take a minute to really get invested. But if
now, when's X coming out? Is that April or March?
I'm sorry, what?
When's Xenoblade X coming? Is that March?
Oh, I don't know the release date on that.
Okay. Because Robbie, that should be on your short list too.
I want to do 3 first. I think my next big Switch
game
will be 3, that. I didn't really love 2, but we can talk about that.
We'll talk about the next time. 2, wow, it had some interesting art style decisions that I probably wouldn't want to play that in my family room, quite honestly.
Also, though, Robbie, we were talking a little bit offline, in the chat and everything. What about Final Fantasy? You going to dive into another one of those after you finish 7?
Yeah, I mean, I got some Christmas presents received by family members include Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Armored Core 6, Metaphor, and Final Fantasy 16. So
Ooh, yeah. 16.
I don't know if I'm gonna like go right into Final Fantasy 16, but it is like on the shorter end of my list. Like it'll probably be like
Yeah.
by the summer. I'm hoping to.
They're very
have cracked
different.
into it.
And 16 is also a much shorter game.
Yeah, I mean, I hear it can all of like many of them. It can be made into a very long game if you want, but
No. Even I'll be honest with you, I have not entirely beaten. I got most of the way through. I'll check my save file and text you offline type of thing. But even doing everything, the game just doesn't have anywhere near as much.
It's like, yeah, it was like 20 hours from yours. I want to say something.
Yeah,
oh, that's
and
pretty short.
and you were doing a lot more than just mainline, right?
Not really.
No,
I was
Oh.
mostly mainlining. Yeah.
See, I compare things to back in the day. Like I played Final Fantasy VII 50 hours through. Did not like how my game on PlayStation 1. Did not like how my game was going. Restarted 100 hours through. Totally dominated that game. Beat both of the weapons, everything like that. Same thing with Final Fantasy Tactics. 50 hours through. Didn't like it. Restarted 100 hours through. Mastered every class in that game. Final Fantasy VIII was barely a 40-hour game for me, and it was, and so I have a different measurement on what is a long game.
Yeah. I also picked up this on Best Buy's deal of the day for $25. Stellar Blade.
I do need to check that out.
So it was on Best Buy's deal of the day, and I had a $5 gift card, a certificate that was expiring in a week or two. It's like, let me pick this up for $25 or whatever, and so I'm excited for that. I hear it's Dark Soulsy, but not quite.
It's anime Dark Soulsy.
It's not as frustrating as most Dark Souls games, which I'm okay with. Yeah, so excited for that. Yeah. Anything else before we wrap it up?
Can't wait for Switch 2.
Yeah, this summer I think we'll be seeing that. Hopefully it's not September or October, and more like a July. I think they'll do the June Direct, and then a month later it'll be out, kind of thing. Is my hope.
Ooh, that would be wild.
Yeah, they could announce a bunch of stuff at the June Direct and like get it a month later, kind of thing.
Here's hoping.
Yeah. Well, Robbie, where can folks find you on the interwebs? I know you're redoing your website or moving stuff over.
Moving it's just the blog part of my website to WordPress. But yeah, my main site, robbieburns.com, if you want to follow my professional ongoings.
Very cool. And Jason, what about you?
You can't generally find me online. However, if you find me anywhere that you see Risen Devil, PSN, Nintendo Network, just anything online, Risen Devil is me.
Cool. Sounds good. Well, we'll be back in February for another fun chat all about the world of video games. Thanks for listening or watching. Bye.
Bye.